Hey guys, even here, and feel Heath, the first story. Now I know exactly what he meant when he said his body is finally responding. Look at that freaking arm. I mean, it's completely separated from the rest of his body. The delts are as well. Look at that brachialis, I mean the forearms. God, he is so big right now and he's getting that 3D effect. Look at the chest too, the upper chest, the traps, I mean the lower chest, everywhere. He looks bubbly and 3D. So this is what Phil Heath is actually known for. This was always his trademark, and he is getting that back again. So in that tweet of his where he announced his comeback, he said his body is feeling really good and it is finally responding. I felt like he was over-exaggerating a little because last year he was very muscular, he looked great, but did he look like this in last year's off-season? Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, he was hiding a lot, true, but look at him now. I mean, this is looking really freaking impressive. And it might mean that he's gonna look like he looked in 2011, 12 or 13. Those were his best year, no doubt. So he's 41 years old right now, which is not very old, but it's not exactly young. And if you consider that he won 7 Mr. Olympia titles, and that he was in the top for the past 2-3 years, and also 2-3 years before he won the Mr. Olympia, he should be losing his gains right now. He shouldn't be getting better and he shouldn't be looking fresh like this. I mean, it's not exactly usual thing to see. I'm not saying it's not normal. Maybe it should be this way. But I think Phil Heath always trained very smart. He wasn't doing like crazy deadlifts and stuff like that, especially when he won the Mr. Olympia. He said he used to do that when he was younger, when he started, but then he just switched to machines and much safer approach. A lot of reps, time under tension type of training, and I think that's why he preserved his body. He had some gut issues. I'm not saying bubble gut issues, just gut issues, stomach issues, and that was the only thing that he wasn't exactly healthy with, but he fixed that, as he says. He got that hernia surgery too, so as far as that part, it's all fixed, and as far as the rest of his body, it just looks very fresh, and it seems like it is actually responding, as he says, because he does look damn impressive in this photo. Hey, here's another one, and this one was shared by his wife, so don't pay attention to his face, this was meant for his wife, he wanted to look cute, but look at the delts, and the biceps, and the chest. But I mean, especially the delts, look at those delts, I mean, those are Phil Heath delts. This is what he's known for, that alive muscle, like look at the fibers, look at the 3D, it's popping, I mean, look at the biceps, how meaty they are, and the chest, look at this hole in the chest. I mean, this guy is known for crazy genetics, and lately, the past few years, we haven't really seen him at his best. I mean, I thought 2018, 2020, it was still good, but was it as good as 2013, 12, or 11? No, probably not, because we've seen a lot of photos in the offseason, and he always does look impressive, but this impressive? I don't think so. I think these photos looking much better than all the others that we saw. It seems like his body is finally responding really, really well. I'm not gonna talk about Phil Heath versus Kai or anything like that, but I wanted to share this little comment with you on Juan Morel's Instagram page. So Juan posted a photo with Phil, an older photo, of course. You can see how big Juan is. He's not that big anymore. As far as Phil, he's probably the same size right now, but he probably looks a little bit more impressive because here he was a little bit too watery. Right now he does look a little bit drier and harder than here, but that's besides the point. The point is Kai's stupid comment. So Kai says, "Hey homie, this is dope. At least he wasn't afraid to meet with you. Respect." So Kai is trolling Phil. I don't know what he really meant with this. I don't think he invited Phil to do anything, really. Phil actually invited him to have a lunch. I don't know, did he really accept that offer or is he just trolling Phil or whatever? But this is another comment of Kai. Got a lot of negative comments, replies actually, so you can check that out. Doesn't really matter though. I just wanted to show you this because it seems like Kai is trying to stir things up a little. He wants that old rivalry back. It's gonna give him some more publicity, I guess. So hopefully Phil will not respond to any of these troll comments and stuff like that, because it seems like Kai just wants some attention and he's gonna get it this way or the other, and he's just losing respect of the fans. It's just sad, really. It's just sad. Alright, this next story can be very interesting. So, do you guys know who this is? Do you recognize this guy, this physique? You're guessing just another classic physique guy? No, not really. Let me show you something that might refresh your memory. More familiar now? Who is this guy standing next to Kim Williams? It's Alexis Rivera, and he was one of the top guys only 2 years ago. Something happened to him and he went fully natural. So here you can see him standing next to Kim Williams, and he's absolutely dwarfing Kim's hamstrings. Look at those hamstrings on Alexis, they are just super outstanding. And upstairs, he was a little bit flatter than Kim, so he lost this show. This was Tampa Pro 2016. 2 years after this 2018 Tampa Pro, he won a show. He won Tampa Pro, beating Sergio Oliva. In a year or two, Sergio Oliva became one of the top guys, maybe you can say top tier bodybuilders, placing 5th at the very competitive Arnold Classic. But 2018, Alexis Rivera was better than Sergio, and you can see it right here very clearly. I mean, just take a look at those quads, how separated they are. I mean, the feathers, and overall the structure and the 3D effect that he has. He had a lot of potential, and this was not 100% of him. He could have went far away with his genetics. Unfortunately, something happened. No, this is not a physique of Flex Wheeler from 1999 British Grand Prix or Kevin Levrone or whatever. This is Alexis Rivera, and he was so genetically blessed. I mean, this is kind of a mixture of Kevin Levrone and Flex Wheeler. I can see that. I can see both of those physiques in this one physique right here. So you can see that this guy was so genetically blessed. He could have went so far if everything went well. I don't know what was the problem, but he lost majority of his gains. The guy really knew how to get shredded, how to get peeled, especially those quads. Those are just one of the driest quads ever. They kind of look like Andreas Munzer's quads, only fuller, rounder. And look at the glutes and the hamstrings and the back, everything. This guy was just really conditioned. If he pushed things a little bit for a few more years, got a little bit bigger, especially in the upper body, he could have been a competitor for, winning the Mr. Olympia title or anything like that, because he was really promising. But right now, he looks like this. But hey, it's actually pretty good considering the fact that he was off of gear for a year and a half, guys, a year and a half, and just food and supplements, as he says. So he does look good for somebody who hasn't been using, and he has been using before for a long time. So he managed to maintain a fair amount of mass. So he says he's 217 pounds here, morning weight. So I'm guessing on stage he was probably like 240 at least. So he lost not really that much, maybe like 25, 30 pounds of muscle, something like that. I mean, he's not contest shredded here. But the question is, an interesting question is, could he do classic physique naturally? We often hear the question, could you turn pro in classic physique naturally? And the answer is really yes, you could. It would take a long time unless you are a super freak. And there are a lot of super freaks in professional bodybuilding. All of them are on gear, obviously not natural, but they were natural at some point. So somebody who stayed natural for a long time was, for example, Kai Green. And when he was natural, not really for a long time, but he competed since very early age. So he didn't start using immediately. So at some point he looked very impressive, naturally, as he says. And he probably could have been a great classic physique pro naturally, right? The greatest bodybuilder of all time, the most muscular bodybuilder of all time, Ronnie Coleman, claims he was natural when he actually turned pro and competed at the Mr. Olympia, I believe, naturally. How true that is, I don't think it's true. I don't think so, because I know Ronnie said a lot of things that are not probably true, such as that his body fat percent was negative numbers, -2, stuff like that, Ronnie. So I don't know how true it is that he was natural at this point, but considering how big he was when he was on, you can see that. You can see that because he was enormous when he actually was dominating the Mr. Olympia stage. So he's another example of a bodybuilder who could have been a Mr. Olympia classic physique naturally, right? If this is true, probably yeah. I mean, because I don't know when he started using stuff, but he is he is the best bodybuilder of all time, and he has probably the best genetics of all time, so he could have done it. Of course, he didn't. He wanted to be the best of the best. And who cares what you are using? Also, there was no classic physique back in the day, so he could have been just a mediocre open bodybuilder and one who kept saying that he was natural. So that's what he could have done. Of course, he didn't choose to do that. He went the right way, the right path, and he became the greatest of all time. Now the question is, could Alexis Rivera, who was natural for a year and a half for whatever reason, but still kept training and eating and everything, could he turn pro? I mean, he is already a pro, so he could have just competed against the other pros in classic physique. How well would he do? I mean, could he win a classic physique pro show naturally? That's something I would love to see. I would love to see him try. Why not? Just do a classic physique professional show naturally. It would be just really fun to see how he fares against the other enhanced guys who are doing classic physique. And I mean, he just the weight, right? He's 217, so at his height, his weight cap is something around 200 probably. So when he gets shredded, and naturally you can get even more shredded than on gear, right? Because without any water retention, you can just look drier. So maybe he wouldn't have the fullness and the hardness, but he would be dry. And this guy knows his body as well. So it would be very interesting to see him compete naturally in a classic physique, a former open bodybuilder who is now not on the stuff and he looks like this. It would be very much fun. What do you guys think? How would he do? How well would he do against the other top pros in classic physique? 2 years ago, Alexis Rivera was able to beat Sergio Oliva at that Tampa Pro. But this is Sergio right now. At least this is his most recent bathroom selfie on his IG. So is this his current look? I guess. Why wouldn't it be? 11 weeks out of Arnold Classic. I mean, this guy is, as what Abiyad likes to say, deceivingly big. Which means you can't really know how big he is unless he stands next to the other guys, because he's quite a bit tall and he has a really wide structure. Right here, he looks thick. I mean, he looks big. He looks packed. And he's very tall, so I'm really curious to see what he looks like on stage, actually. Will he win Arnold Classic? Well, he doesn't believe it. He never claimed that he's gonna win it. So, if he doesn't believe it, there is no chance it's gonna happen. I don't think so. Well, maybe there is, because Ronnie Coleman also says he never believed that he's gonna win the Mr. Olympia, and he won 8 of those. So maybe from that perspective, yeah, there is a chance, but not very likely. He is not fighting for the first spot. I mean, he doesn't want to disrespect the top guys like William Bonek and Rolly Winkler and whoever. He's probably going for like top 3, maybe top 4, something like that. So I guess that's probably the most realistic outcome. At this point, he looks good, but does he look as good as, for example, Nick Walker? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so, not even close. Look at his most muscular. I haven't really seen him do a crab pose very often. For a crab pose, you do need a lot of 3D effect. You know, you need to have really big arms, you need to be all around and bubbly. Nick is very big, but I don't think he's that bubbly and round. But still, this pose does look pretty good, actually. I mean, the chest looks good, even though it's a weak point for him. And the arms and the shoulders looking great, the quads too. So it's a good pose, actually. It's not that bad. Yeah, he should consider including it. And the side chest pose, wow. Again, his chest, a weak point. But look at the side leg. And look at the arms and the delts and everything. I mean, the hamstrings, wow. It's a good pose, and his left arm behind, so it makes him look really big, really thick, and it shows the incredible mass that Nick possesses, so it's a good pose for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy is gonna place higher than Sergio Oliva, and I don't think I would be super surprised if he won the Arnold Classic. I can see that happen. Again, I don't know how well will he fare against the other top guys, but I mean, ever since his major transformation, 2021, where he destroyed everyone at the New York Pro, he hasn't lost to anybody still. So his stock is very high. We'll see how well will he do against Bonac and Rolly, Sergio too, and the others. I mean, it's going to be a stacked lineup at the Arnolds, but I'm expecting him to be at least 3rd place. I can see him easily beating everybody except for Rolly and Bonac, and I can see him beating both of those guys, because Bonac is kind of losing a little bit of that freshness that the younger guy has. He's getting older, kind of, you can see that in his physique, and Rolly is not exactly consistent with conditioning, so I can imagine Nick being the winner of the Arnold Classic, can't you? Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Tell me in the comment section down below what do you think, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. All the best, guys, and bye bye.